mean, I'll do it. It was fun though. I actually got a black officer. Worked with their one guy. We're gonna take some. Well, the nice thing is we would.
That is awesome. I'll have to write the deadlines.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Or you have What's nice is that so it's just so if not like the main so I about 4 times. Sometimes Where do you want to sit?
She's going to be on this side, and you guys are on this side. Yeah. Let me turn everything off.
How's the volume? Is the volume okay for everybody? Okay. Good afternoon, and thank you for coming out today. Sheriff Spurlock's going to announce the arrest in a case that started in 2019. It's a multi-million-dollar money laundering case that he's going to speak to you about. We have some pictures that'll be released up here and some names. Those things can be requested through the PIO office afterwards, or you can do it online at dcsheriff.net. And if you have any follow-up questions, you can reach out to me. It's PIO@dcsheriff.net, and I'll get you anything that you need. Sheriff Spurlock's going to come up now. He's also accompanied by Chief Colley with Castle Rock PD and Chief Wilson with Lone Tree PD. And the spelling of Spurlock's name is Tony, Tony, Spurlock, Spurlock.
Thanks, Lauren. Thank you all for being here. First, I want to recognize some individuals that were critical in making this case come to its fruition. And so I do want to recognize some individuals, the law enforcement agencies, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, Lone Tree Police Department, Castle Rock, the United States Secret Service, United States Postal Inspector Service, Colorado Department of Revenue, the Aurora Police Department, the Denver Police Department, and the United States Bureau of Prisons. Those law enforcement agencies all work together with us to help get this to its fruition. Also participating retail organizations, Albertsons and Safeway, we have their representatives here today, Walmart, Home Depot, and Target. Also along with King Soopers, Ultra Beauty, Sephora, Lowe's, Vitamin Cottage, and Whole Foods. All of those entities came together, and let me quickly tell you how this came about. About 2 years ago, these two chiefs of police approached me and said, hey, we'd like to put together a task force on retail theft. And they participated, added resources. I put resources in. We reached out and we got the United States Secret Service to be a part of this because of money laundering. And the first task force was created. It's a financial investigation regional strike team, which is the first team. And it is commanded and ran by Sergeant Dave Byer, who is here also. And that unit really started working on financial crimes. Unbeknownst to us, the retail organizations, their investigative groups, had seen thefts and shoplifting and what they were sure was resale of their product and most likely money laundering. They started their own investigation. They came to us in June-ish 2019 and said, we need your help. We'd like to work together. And that's how we got here. We came together with their investigators and our first task force. And during this time, we started to work together on this organized crime syndicate, if you will. There's groups of individuals. In June of 2020, this task force came together and provided a tremendous amount of information to us. So a year goes on with a lengthy investigation, and we as a combined task force and retail entities came together, and through a number of undercover investigations, undercover buys, we were able to secure an investigation that led us to 7 principals, and you'll get their information here in just a minute. But over $20,000 was stolen in merchandise that was purchased in association with the Denver phone store over a course of 9 months, and that's in the city of Aurora. Undercover investigators, with the help of private entities, worked on getting the individual information as we could. What we've found out is that a lot of the property that was being stolen was being resold on the open market on online markets. Large sums of cash was later identified that was being moved between multiple accounts, some of this leaving the state, but a lot of it leaving the United States. This case was presented to the grand jury, and we received indictments for 7 individuals. But I want to tell you just a little bit real quickly about how impactful this is. When you talk about the largest organized crime, shoplifting, money laundering crime, you have to take a look at the perspective on this. 31,485 items were stolen and recovered at the Denver phone store. 3,216 different United Postal Service codes were found. It means they were shipping those items. Stores, the store identifiers, so each individual stores have their own little identifiers on product. And we were able to identify those everywhere between Pueblo and Cheyenne and Frisco and Burlington, Colorado. So stores inside that region were being impacted by this. Safeway, Walmart, Target, Kroger Foods, Vitamin Cottage, Home Depot, all pulled their respective individual ID numbers for their property and put this information together and shared it with law enforcement so we could identify where the items were stolen from and where they were going. Search warrants were issued, and over $100,000 in gold was recovered, $108,000 in cash, and numerous cell phones were seized. During the search warrant, we were also able to find 9 stolen generators. An estimated value of recovery is $1.7 million. Total estimated loss for the property that had been fenced, $5.2 million. And we do believe again today that this is one of the largest recorded money laundering operations in the history of the state of Colorado. This is huge for law enforcement and for the private sector to work together to come after individuals who are stealing property, impacting the state of Colorado, and quite frankly, our nation. Because every time something is stolen and was resold at a lower price, you as a consumer were paying the price for that. Because you can't expect Safeway or Albertsons or Home Depot or Lowe's or any of those just to eat the cost of items that are being stolen by organized criminal individuals. And this right here has made a huge impact and a huge dent in this organization. There were 7 arrests. You'll get the information about those individuals and the indictments. 78 different charges were filed against these individuals, of those 7 individuals. The impact on this I think is really important, that all of the individuals that were under investigation were Eastern European countries. And those individuals, most of them had immigration documentation to be in the United States legally. There's still one that we're trying to verify. So these individuals were here legally, but they were organized enough over a period of a number of years to target all of those entities. And most of those, and how it came about right here, is these 2 chiefs of police, the largest shopping centers are in their jurisdictions. And it's impacting their community, impacting their law enforcement, and impacting how they conduct their business in their cities. These individuals have made a significant impact on the retailers and how they do their business and how profit is made in this country. And so today it is a great pleasure and an honor to be standing up here with the 2 chiefs, and we have 2 representatives from the retail industry here as well, to where we were able to get the indictments, get the arrests made, and recover a significant amount of money that these individuals have stolen. I'll open it up to some questions. We have some parameters still, of course, because this is an ongoing case being prosecuted by the district attorney's office. But again, I want to thank my partners who played a major role in this, who put resources to bear, the private sector, that without us coming together, we probably wouldn't be here today. So I'll open it up to questions if anyone has any questions for us.
Can you clarify the role of the shop where most of these recovered items came from? You said it was in Aurora. Can you clarify how that worked?
So that location was really just a fencing location. Property would be stolen, taken to that location, and then it was pushed outward, usually by the United States Postal Service or some other carrier, to individuals who would buy it off online.
Besides the 7 individuals guys believe there's more people involved?
I can tell you right now that we do know, in fact, that there are more individuals involved. These are the individuals who were indicted. These individuals would bring people from their country of origin, bring them here, and they would be subject to assisting them in stealing. And so we know that there are other individuals that are involved, and we know that there are other individuals currently right now that are doing this exact same thing.
This is the biggest money laundering in Colorado. However, do you guys believe that there is other states involved where this is going on as well, connected to these individuals?
We do know that there are other states in the United States that are involved in this case, and we are working with those prosecutors and attorneys general to look at those cases. That is one of the things of having an entity like the United States Secret Service on board, who has jurisdiction all over the United States on money laundering. And exactly this is what was taking place. And so those investigations will continue on.
Was it all different types of property that was stolen? What were you seeing most?
So it started out as vitamins, cosmetics, birth control. Then it moved to items, small items of tools, small tools that you could steal from the Lowe's and Home Depot. A lot of things that had high-end value on the shelf market is being stolen and then resold.
All online.
All online.
I know that the task force was put together on 2019. However, for how long do you guys believe this was going on?
Okay, the task force came together, I think, in 2018 or so. This case investigation is going on for at least 2 years, if not more, and we're sure they were doing it well before we started the task force. And we knew that from information from our retailer partners and from other law enforcement agencies that had large malls or large shopping centers in them.
Are you confident you have the people that organized all of this? Or are you still looking for someone who had
Well,
a larger role?
We are confident that we have the key players, those 7 key players. There are other individuals involved, but those 7 key players, all not from this country, all holding immigration documentation. They are and have been arrested, and we believe that those are the individuals that are the leaders of this organization only.
How often does it happen that law enforcement and private retail entities work together on something like this? You said this was a really big deal. Can you kind of put that in perspective?
Well, I think we have in the past worked together, and we do a lot of things at a really small scale. This is a huge scale, and they came together as a retailers and put their case together with their investigators with tremendous amount of intelligence and shared it with law enforcement. And then we combined with the first task force made this case. So I think it happens a lot, and I would encourage other retailers to share with their jurisdiction when they have things that they know that are occurring like this, because it impacts the standard of living in their jurisdiction in the state of Colorado when this amount, $5.2 million, is being stolen. Someone has to pay for that. Someone has to pay that price, and you know how that works. And so it's very important that we work closely with the retailers and with other law enforcement to apprehend these individuals.
You said 78 charges. What are they charged for?
Money laundering and theft is the largest thing, and then illegal mailing of contraband through the United States Postal Service.
Do you guys try to go back at all and get recoup any of the stolen goods, or are they just kind of chalked up as gone?
No, we did recover a tremendous amount. I think I had that figure here. Well, we recovered $100,000 in gold, $108,000 in cash, 80 pounds of silver, and I think we recovered $1.7 million worth of product. But we do know that we are estimating with our investigation about $5 million was stolen.
Any
Total.
advice for people who might shop on secondhand markets on Facebook or Craigslist or anything what to look for so they don't find it?
You know, that's one of the age-old questions. When you have an entity that is selling something online, You want to take that they're credible and reliable. And I would just always ask questions, verify the product, where it's coming from, and also look at the cost and the price of it. If it's incredibly lower than what you normally would pay at going to those places, you should question that, because you're probably being part of contributing to a money laundering organization.
Is 5.2 million the total figure you had?
5.2 million was the amount that we believe had been fenced through this operation. Like I said, I do have a statement here that I want to make sure that you all have, and this was prepared by the retailers. I want to give it to you so you can take a look at it and obviously pull information out of it. It's a lot of good information about how the retailers played a major role in this investigation, and their plea to the community and folks to step up. Anything else?
Do you have a figure on how much goods you think was stolen in connection with this? I know you gave the 5.2 figure, but overall, I mean, is that the same?
Yeah, that's the same dollar value, but it's a massive amount, warehouses full of product.
You said at the beginning that Chief Cully approached you to meet this task force. What were you guys seeing that made you think we need to get a bigger hand on this?
Come on, Chief.
Well, in my prior law enforcement career, I had experience with organized retail crime, and I know that in talking with our retailers in Castle Rock, which is a huge contributor to our community as far as sales tax revenues, the Castle Rock area retailers, and specifically the outlets, about 5.5 million people a year come to Castle Rock to shop. And we know that we're talking about a significant amount of money that these organized retail crime individuals are taking from our retailers. But they're also taking money from all of you. They're taking money from our communities, because most of the communities that are based in all of them actually, that are based in Douglas County, receive a significant amount of their funding from sales tax. So if you're looking at $5 million and you multiply that times the amount of sales tax that have been associated with that, that's the amount of money that did not go to our communities to support, in many cases, first responders. So we knew that it was a problem. We know that for us, we need to keep our communities safe, number one, but we also want our retailers to thrive, because if our retailers are thriving, our community's thriving. And they were hurting. So we came together, as Sheriff Spurlock mentioned, to put these people in jail and to bring them to justice. Because this type of organized retail crime is occurring every single day throughout the state of Colorado and across our country. So for these talented investigators to come together and bring a case like this to fruition is pretty incredible, and it's something that we're going to continue to do.
Yeah, I challenge a reporter to ask Chief from Lone Tree a question. Chief Wilson just can't wait to answer any question. I'm here for you, Chief. Okay, if you don't have anything else, again, we do appreciate you sharing this with the community. I will make sure that Lauren has this document so you can all have access to it right here. And then appreciate your help with this. So thank you all very much. Thanks.